I don't know where to start. I know where I want to go, but know how to get there. How do you introduce something like this? How do you set it up? How do you get from point A to point B when point B is bigger than anything, than everything? I just want to talk about what happened that day on the subway. Because that's all I think about anymore. Every single minute of my life, it's all I think about. It's all I hear when I dream, it's all I dream about because there's nothing else anymore. I'm stranded in time of this moment and there is no past or future anymore. It's just the 2 minutes on subway with that man. I will give anything to get away from this horrible moment, but I can't. I can't stop reliving it. And the sound is always there and I'm always hearing it. And I wish I could make it stop. I don't know what else to do except to vomit this up and cast it out and hope to God that maybe this will turn the machine off, stop the wheels and let me sleep for just a little while. It was early and I was eating a bagel, a sesame seed bagel with a strawberry cream cheese. There was a bit too much cream cheese in the middle, filling the hole on top. I remember every single detail, and I feel nothing but sympathy and pity for the woman I read about once who can remember every detail of her day. The details on the details. I was holding a bagel with a piece of wax paper because I was wearing my new suit, and I knew if I wasn't careful enough, it carried filthy. The train had just left Grant, and it was full. I wasn't playing attention to anyone because my bagel wasn't anything important to me right there. Isn't that ridiculous? Nothing else in the moment. Not the person across from me or the baby crying till runs down or the man jiggling his foot was more important than the bagel. I took a bite and I was wiping my face when something about the way the person behind me whispered made my ears prick up a little. Maybe it was the fact that she said quickly on a crowded train on which you can hear yourself thinking, or it could have been that he said it in my ear, although I don't think he meant to. Either way, I turned my head back to the right, and I feel my struggle scraped along my collar. What? What? I asked, swallowing. He was a young man and he was grinning. He looked from the woman sitting next to him. He raised his age brow at me and said, that guy looks like he's gonna flip out. He hooked his thumb back and I leaned to look down the aisle. Just a man in a suit like me and half the train, but his foot was jiggling up and down and up and down, and his arms were crossed, which I remembered reading somewhere was a signal, which I remembered reading somewhere was a sign of hostility. He was glowering at the person across from him, and that's when I actually heard for the baby crying. I completely tuned it out until that exact moment. But once I heard it, I couldn't ignore it. A young woman was cradling a baby, probably no more than 3 weeks old, and it was squalling. Babies that like sound like kitten, don't they? Like very angry kitten. She was wearing a loose brown coat. The baby was swallowed with a big blanket with rabbits on it. And she was touching it and saying something, going at it, and no one else paid her any attention except the men, and well, and me. Couldn't stop looking at her. We should have knew then. We should have all known that something was wrong. That no one looks at anyone like that with anything but bad intentions. But we didn't do anything. We just sat there and waited to see what he would do. In all of us, there was a little black thing that trips on saying people do terrible things. That thing just city do. Just love knowing that person is going to suffer for what they've done. Stupidity is a drug that's we both right in our veins, and it goes right into the hair of that little black thing, and it loves us for it. Then his foot went up and down and up and down, and he said something under his breath, and there was sweat rolling down his face. The baby let out a loud screech, and few people turned to look, but this man, He shoved his finger in his hair and bent his head down and planted his face on the floor. His whole body moved with the tapping of his legs, and I frowned. I was still holding my bagel, but I forgotten about this because I was thinking about what a display he was putting on. It would only be a matter of minutes, I thought, before he started writing about how babies shouldn't be allowed in public. No doubt he had place to be. His foot went up and down and up and down, and he said something under his breath, and there was sweat rolling down his face. The baby let out a loud screech, and a few people turned to look. But this man, he shoved his fingers in his hair and bent his head down and planted his feet on the floor. His whole body moved with the tapping of his legs, and I flown it. I was still holding my bagel, but I forgotten about it because I was thinking about what a display he was putting on. It would only be a matter of minutes, I thought, before he started ranting about how babies shouldn't be allowed in public. Not though he had place to be, he was a very important person with very important business to attend to, and he had no time for little babies that were tired or scared or hungry or whatever. It was that was upsetting the little creature in the pink blanket. The mom slung the baby over her shoulder and patted its back, but baby kept squalling in big haiku, and no more people were watching this man, who still had his fingers tucked in his hair, and was singing to himself. I heard a snatch of the lyric, and the song played in my head. Take me home tonight. Where there's music and there's people who are young and alive, driving in your car. I never want to go home because I can't go to anymore. Someone next to him got up and moved further down the train, shooting him a nasty glance, but the man was hunched over, fingers in his hair and singing and rocking, and baby was cradling mom's arm, waving its little hand around and grasping at nothing. Hey, that's fucking something, man. Fucking crazy, man, the young man commented. I felt a blood cream cheese fall out of my bagel and onto my rice, but something very interesting was happening to the man, and it was as if I was hypnotizing, and I found that I couldn't look away. His rocking increased until the people next to him loudly commented on it, and from where I was, I could see that there was blood in his fingers and running down and onto the white of his shirt. I thought he's really got his fingers in there, doesn't he? The baby screamed and the mom continued to associate, and there was sweat pattering onto the floor, and the man's head jiggled up and down and up and down and up and down, and his face was very red, and the young man behind me said, "Holy shit, that's gonna stroke out." And then things happened very quickly. I remember everything. Ear-splitting screech. The baby let out the final ear-splitting screech. Mom shushed it, and the man jumped out of his seat. He was so fast, and none of us had anything to react. We just watched, spellbound, as he ripped the chill in the blanket with the rabbits on it and held it to his face. He screamed at it and the chill screamed back, and in a fluid motion he raised the chill in one hand. It's really weird to explain it, but for a moment it was just beautiful. The blanket fell away, and the child, with he held by the chest, was lit from behind by the light of the sailing rollers. The man's sweat jacket flared open around his chest, expanding behind him like strange wings, and he craned his head to look up at it. And for a moment there was a grass and stillness, and we watched him, the whole train, mesmerized at the strange beauty of the scene that we could not comprehend. And then the moment ended, and with all the strange of that man had, he threw the baby to the ground and with one shiny black wingtip he stepped upon its head and crushed it. There was a splatter of very pale red and a sound like the cracking of an eggshell. The train was very still. It was quiet. The only sound was the wheels against the metal of the rail below us. The train is quiet. Mom's arms were outstretched slightly, the hands cupped, her eyes were downcast, and an image of a blessed Virgin could not have matched the reverence in which her fingers curled against the empty air. The man, his jaw still upon what remained of the child, breathed heavily, blood running out of the earth that I could see. We were all very still. Then the mother began to scream. An explosion of movement around the man, like the flurry of birds taking flight, startled him, and caused him to blink rapidly. His face lost color and sagged, and his eyes went white with shock. He lifted the jaw, which was caked in tissue and blood and hair, and a piece of skin was stuck to the bottom. It lifted the tiny body up slightly. He reeled back and his legs struck the bench behind him, which he fell upon with all his weight. Chaos. Absolute chaos. The mother fell to her knees and cradled the broken body. She screamed and screamed, and there was more pain in the screams than anyone has ever known. The young man behind me shouted something, got to his feet and ran over, while his female companion collapsed in a dead faint into the ice. Several people grabbed the man, who was clutching his chest. His eyes rolled and his face hung off of his skull, and he was saying something it over and over. I was not aware of moving closer, but I must have because I could smell the acrid stink of him, and I could hear what he was saying. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? It's never been that bad before. What did I do? He tried to break out of the cluster of hands holding him to reach for the mother, who reared away and brought her child to her chest. The blood was pink as it stained her coat, and absurdly I wondered if it would ever come out. I remember reading something about that blood could be removed with common soap, and I wanted to tell her this, but when I opened my mouth nothing came out. I was still holding my bucket full of pink cream cheese, and she looked at it and her wailing tore open the world. The men continued to scream, and from somewhere there was the sound of someone else yelling into a phone. Oh my god, I have a condition, I'm sorry. Please, what did I do? What did I do? The bagel was soft in my hand, and when I crushed it, the cream cheese covered my fingers and palm, and I dropped it hissing, as if it were hot. What did I do? Oh my god, what did I do? From outside the windows came the flicker of the light in the next stop. A crowd was waiting at the edge of the platform, and I thought how lucky they were that policemen were there to push them back, so that they would never bear witness to the end of the war. And all the while the mother split the hair open, and the man continued to cry out against the hands that held him to the set. What did I do? What did I do? The man and the mother. It was a terrible symphony. For me, now, there is no past or future. There is no softness or joy or taste. I am stranded at the end of the world where there is nothing, where there can never be anything. And even in my dreams, I hear the cracking of eggshells.